during COVID, I've always wanted to kind of live out of a travel trailer. I don't know. I'm like I'm a little bit of a vagabond at heart. And so uh, I just bought a travel trailer and went around to like national parks working remotely. And I loved it. And it was great. And so, but I did that when I could because I wasn't sure when, anyways, I'm belaboring the point. Same situation here where did have any kids at the time or any sort of expectation of a child coming into the picture. And so I knew that like this is one of the least risky points in time for me to, if I was ever going to try to build my own thing, it would be this, or it would be now. And if I was ever going to try to build something and I was going to be successful at it, I have 13 years to back me up here. So like, I don't think there's going to be another point in my career where I have like 13 years of experience in like a field that like I'm pretty dang good at. And then on top of that, I had a high degree of confidence that I know what people are paying for this in market. I know what people, I know people are paying for it in market. And so I know that there's no reason why I couldn't sell this. So it was a confluence of those things where I said, okay, like it was very intellectual as it were, right? Like it's not, it's less of, so it wasn't like an emotional decision, right? Where like, it was just like kind of spur of the moment. It was like, okay, like this is pretty data driven and I feel fairly safe in doing this. And if it doesn't work, I know I can eject, right? And I'll go run customer success somewhere or I can find another role. Reasonably confident in that. I don't want to misspeak. Who knows? Maybe I couldn't actually tried. But so yeah, so that was kind of the intellectual process behind it. Would I go do it right now? If like it was right now, I probably would.
That's so true. Everyone always thinks, "Oh, I got time. I'll do it later. I got the time to do it." I'm only 20, right? 23, 24. I got the time to go and do something like that, right? And I always tell people you have so much less time than what you think. One, you don't know when you're gonna die. I mean, that's just a point blank fact. You don't know when you're gonna die. At least 9.9 of us out of 10 don't, right? And like when you're young, that's when you need to be taking the risk. If you don't have a family, if you don't have anyone depending on you to, pay the mortgage or, provide in any way, right? Like I think back when I was in my 20s and I studied abroad in Germany, and I mean that was like the best time ever possible. I mean, I got all the partying that I could have wanted out of the way. I traveled across the globe alone to a country that I'm not familiar with. I spoke a little bit of the language at the time, but it like it was a challenge for me. Not as extreme as Asia. I mean, I couldn't imagine doing that, right? But it's still like you have to execute when you have that time, and that makes a lot of sense. And I feel like people forget that. They always think like, oh yeah, kids will be down the road. That's 5 years away. It's like, okay, well, yeah, that's 5 years away, and you're talking about doing something for an entire year. What are you gonna do like in between? You think that you're just gonna take a little baby on the road? Like trust me, 7 days in, you're not gonna want to leave the house.
Yeah, but that's not to discourage anybody from doing. I mean, the best day to start was yesterday. The second best day is today, kind of thing. It's like, obviously, just because like timing is almost never ideal. I mean, even at the time, right? Like when I left White Hat, like I turned down a promotion to go. Everybody told me I was crazy, like except for like a few friends that were like, "Yeah, go get it." Like my family and whatnot were like, "I don't know about this. Like you've got like a good job, like and so and it's tough to make those kinds of decisions. So I mean, it's never going to feel ideal, right? Just I sorry, I'm just pontificating to anyone that's kind of on the fence. Like, I'm not telling people to like go take stupid risks, but like also don't not take those risks, right? Because there's also like there's a component to it where on your deathbed, right? And this is kind of the thing that made me decide that I do want kids, right? Because there's a period in life where you're like, do I want kids? Do I not want kids? Right? You have to like actually ask that question. And like on your deathbed, right? Am I going to, or when I look back at life, am I going to be disappointed that like this is going to cost me. Like I know it's going to cost me physically, mentally, financially, right? But like if I look back and I didn't do this thing, like would I be happy about that? And some people's answer may be that they're like happy that they didn't have a kid or whatever. But like for me, it was like no, I think that that's part of like the human experience. And so yeah, so I guess I want kids. All right, let's go. And same goes for the business, right? Like I'd have a hard time looking back and being like, did I leave it all out on the field and knowing that I didn't go do these things? Like I don't want to regret not having done something, even if it ends up being a failure. And so that's been a powerful reframe for me. It's just kind of always taking that perspective for the end of life and saying, okay, like even if this sucks and even if it goes sideways, if I will know that I tried, right? And I can live with knowing I tried. Not having tried is a lot more tough to live with.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good point. And that's definitely how I, think about or quantify, different choices in my life for sure. Like when I try to fast forward and when I'm at the end of my life, what do I want that to look like? And if right now what I'm doing doesn't fit with what I want that to look like, I know I need to correct something. I need to fix it, right? And I would 100% regret not having kids if I didn't have kids. 100%. And I felt like I would regret it without having any kids, right? And now that I have kids, it's like by far the best thing I've ever done. Like I have so much fun. I don't get any sleep, but like I have so much fun. It's great, just seeing the kids grow and everything.
It's exciting. Yeah, I'm curious to know what that's like. Again, people always say that, and I anticipate it being fun. I look forward to like teaching them how to think. Like when I'm with like other kids or like I don't know, like nephews or nieces or stuff like that, I'll like I don't know. It's fun to like challenge their thought process. I'm like, like they'll say words to me, and I'll be like, but what does that word mean? And like, just watch them like try to have to like explain, well, why do we do that? Why does the world work that way? And I don't know. I think that's a ton of fun. They probably think I'm a terrorist. So I don't know.
Grant, I feel like I have to have you back on for another episode. Maybe when you're in the thick of it with your new kid or just coming out of it, like we can touch base and be like, well, how is it? Because I call it going into the suck. Like, oh, he's going into the suck or I'm going into the suck. I'm just coming out of it. Where it's just like a haze, for 2 months. Like with my first kid, she was born in March and I don't start remembering, like, I don't have another memory until May. Like, I negotiated a whole deal, with a sponsor and everything in person at a really nice dinner with a friend of mine. And I don't remember any of it. And a couple weeks go by and my buddy reaches out and says, hey, did you ever send them the contract? I was like,
No way.
I don't know what you're
Is it
talking
just from
about.
sleep fatigue?
Yeah. Yeah. Cause you're just
Wow.
not sleeping. There's just no sleep. That's the
That's
thing.
why that's why I'm curious about the working from home aspect. Cause again, I never leave the house. So like
Yeah, when I had an hour in between meetings, I was napping.
okay.
Had to. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not due till March, so we're still pretty early in
Okay.
the story. So I got some time, but
A little bit.
that time
You
will
have
go
less time than
quickly.
you think. Yeah,
I
you have
yeah,
less time than you
yeah,
think.
I believe that.
Yeah. Well, Grant, I apologize for going over. We got started a little bit late here, but I really did enjoy our conversation, and I definitely want to bring you back on.
Talk about like you've learned new about quantum and
Yeah,
satellites.
yeah. If anything at all, we'll see.
We can talk about your new book on quantum and satellites for dummies,
Yeah,
or
right.
explain it like I'm five.
Before I let you go, how about you tell my audience, where they could find you if they wanted to connect with you and where they could find your company if they wanted to, reach out and learn more?
Yeah, so my home address, just kidding. So
Like, I don't know if
uh,
you want to dox yourself.
So you can find me on LinkedIn. My name's Grant McCracken. There's another Grant McCracken on there. Or there's a couple others, but maybe Grant McCracken Dark Horse. You'll probably find me there. Grant McCracken Security, something like that. So feel free to reach out, connect on LinkedIn. Grant at darkhorse.sh is my work email, and darkhorse.sh is Dark Horse, obviously the organization that I've built. Again, we're happy to help organizations at whatever stage they are in their security journey. Our whole goal is to kind of make those solutions accessible and affordable. And so even if you're not able to afford security, I've got pen testers that'll work for free because we kind of use the crowd. So like there's people that'll gladly do pro bono work, and then I'd be happy to give away the platform for free as well. So like we're just here to try to make people more secure. So if you want to be more secure, whatever your budget, it's a wooden nickel and a rubber band, right? We're happy to kind of do whatever we can to help you become more secure. If that's what you want to be, we want to help you get there. So that's my
Awesome.
pitch.
Cool. Well, thanks everyone. I hope you enjoyed this episode.